I'm Eleanor Moffatt. Welcome to Fuelcast. When was the last time you were filled with wonder? You know, stopped in your tracks, slack-jawed or breathless at the sheer beauty or perfection of a scene, or the incredible way that God has intervened in someone's life. As adults, I wonder, actually there's that word again, I wonder if we are in danger of losing our capacity for wonder. One definition of wonder is a feeling of amazement and admiration caused by something beautiful, remarkable, or unfamiliar. As we grow in our understanding of the world and our experience of life, we get wiser, we hope. But do we become complacent or blasé about the things that used to stun us, used to amaze us, or even surprise us? Now, Christmas is a classic example of this. I've always found the following phrase deeply problematic, and I still hear it often enough to remain uncomfortable. You know the phrase, Christmas? It's really just for the children. As if Jesus came into the world to show God's love only to children. A cute bedtime story for those young enough to need one, but which has little to do with those of us mature enough to have grown up and grown out of it. Yet there is something about the wonder experienced by children that we would do well to recover for ourselves. The Christmas story is so familiar to many of us that we gloss over the well-known words and hardly take a second look at the characters, unless it's our own children or grandchildren that are wearing the tea towel headdress and the shepherd's dressing gown. But we perhaps shun the sparkly lights and the tinsel, dismissing the window dressing for superficial distraction, forgetting perhaps that the purpose of window dressing is to draw our attention to the main event and arrest us in our rushing by to stop and gaze a while, perhaps even to gaze in wonder. If we allow our gaze to fall on the year just ending, what would we see? Were there times when we were amazed or surprised by God? Like climbing a steep hill and looking back, are we filled with a sense of wonder that God has helped us get this far? Or do we just keep going on with our eyes cast down to the path stretching before us? And looking ahead, do we expect God to surprise us, to do something new or remarkable? Perhaps we need to be a little bit more like children, enough to be awestruck and filled with wonder once again at God's goodness, his power and his love. Or is it too familiar to be of note? Will we roll on into the new year with a same old attitude that is oh so grown up and sophisticated? After all, we know how this thing called life pans out, don't we? We have our plans and we have our aims, we have our strategies and our coping mechanisms, but is there still enough space for us to be surprised by God if he chooses to do a new thing? Would we want him to? Maybe some of us need to recover the childlike capacity to be filled with excitement, anticipation and wonder. Pray with me. Loving God, would you increase our curiosity and desire for you? Please take away all traces of cynicism and give us a perspective on life that allows us to be surprised and awestruck by you once again. Please open our eyes to see where you have been at work in our lives, perhaps in ways that we were unaware of at the time. Spirit of God, awaken us to the possibility that you will do a new thing in the days to come. Like children, may we also be filled with a sense of wonder as we glimpse you in the ordinary stuff of life and in the extraordinary moments too. Amen.